Zarling. I study at MSU and I graduate in December, so almost there. I've been coming to Cross Life for almost a year now, and maybe like some of you, I grew up learning about God and acknowledging that He existed. My family attended church regularly, and I participated in Awana and VBS. But as far as my life and living for God, that's as far as it went. Something you should know about me is that as a kid, I was really, really shy. I don't mean to describe this as like a quiet personality, which I do have, but to reveal that I was more concerned about my performance and what others thought of me more than anything else. With 3 older siblings, I was able to learn what to do and how to act in order to receive praise and approval from other people. My siblings were friendly, so I was friendly. My siblings were talented, so I strived to excel and show off my talents. My siblings did well in school, so I worked hard and got good grades too. And my sister Danny, who's here tonight, sorry, she had a laugh that everyone commented on. It's like, oh, it's so cute and funny, and so I practiced and copied it. And got really good at it, so I can do those comments about me too. When I got in trouble, I would often cry. I can tend to be a crier, not because I felt sorry for what I had done, but because I thought it tarnished the reputation that I was trying to build for myself. I took pride in following the rules and being the good kid, and I convinced myself that I was a good kid, and I was in front of people when it mattered and when they were looking. It was in the moments where people weren't looking that God used to show me who I really was. And I remember feeling guilty for stealing money out of my dad's coin drawer in his closet, or knowing that having fits of anger in my room after being sent there, or just when something didn't go my way, that was wrong. I felt this guilt, but I kind of excused it, or I did excuse it, because all that mattered was what people thought of me, and they thought well of me. So at this point, I don't remember what I thought towards God, and I know that I consider myself a Christian, so I probably believed that I was right with Him and things were okay. It wasn't until 7th grade when my actions that I had been doing in secret kind of caught up to me, and I realized what I was doing and who I really was. In 7th grade, I bullied a girl over Facebook Messenger, and I said things to her that were full of jealousy and anger, and it wasn't over Christmas break until I realized what I had committed, and it was the first time that I saw myself as not a good person. The Bible talks about this in Ephesians 2, 1-3, and it describes well of who I was. That I was dead in my trespasses, that I lived in my flesh and in my passions, and that by nature I was a child of wrath. I realized in this moment that I was God's enemy and not His friend. Because I grew up in the church, I was able to recall what I had heard many times, that the punishment for my wrong actions, my disobedience, my sin was death and eternal separation from God. This truth finally made sense, and I knew I deserved to go to hell. That's what I deserved. That no amount of following the rules or doing good things could change my position to God. I needed a Savior, and I knew it. So it was by God's grace that I saw my sin, that I turned away from it and asked for forgiveness and trusted in what Christ had done on the cross for me. 2 Corinthians 5:21 talks about this, and it says, "For our sake He made Him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in Him we might become the righteousness of God." Though Jesus lived a perfect life, He took the punishment for what I so deserve and still deserve, so I could be made right with God. And it's all by God's grace that I was delivered from the consequences of my disobedience. I returned to school after that Christmas break, and I sought reconciliation with that girl. I totally what God had done in my life. asked for her forgiveness, and she granted it. Whew. That's kind of all I remember from that time, but our relationship got restored, and all by God's grace. During high school, there were sweet models and godly examples for me to follow in the church that I grew up with, like Awana leaders and youth group leaders showing me different idols that I kept clinging to and showing me the word and how to let those go and live for Christ. Once I came to college, my sister sought me out, Danny, and God used her to continue to teach me what the Bible said and how to live by it. I'm so thankful for her because she's been such an influential instrument in my life and in my walk with the Lord. Jesus died for all, and that those who live might no longer live for themselves, but for him, who for their sake died and was raised, and I'm still learning how to do this. God has grown my love for one another, for one another's, and for his church. I've grown in kindness and gentleness, and grown in my love to serve. But I still struggle with what people think of me. I still struggle now with anxiousness with like finances, or trusting God with the future, or being proud in my own eyes and thinking I know best, or turning to other things rather than God for refuge. I'm still learning to say no and to turn to God, and because of his grace, I'm able to say no, and I'm able to turn towards him and fix my eyes on him. God is mighty to save. I'll conclude with one of my favorite passages to kind of sum it up, which is Titus 2:11-14. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation for all people, training us to renounce ungodliness and worldly passions, and to live self-controlled, upright, and godly lives in the present age, waiting for our blessed hope, the appearing of the glory of our great God and Savior, Jesus Christ, who gave himself for us to redeem us from all lawlessness and to purify for himself a people for his own possession who are zealous for good works. Because of God's work in my life, I get to live for God, and that's such a grace. Thank you.